My father was a printer in downtown Edwardsville, and my mother worked our stores that we had in downtown Edwardsville. At the time, I was very, very little. But my father's true love was the Wildey. He and three of his brothers were working the Wildey the night we opened in 1909. At the same time, all four brothers. I was little, and my mother would stay down at our stores to make more money, and I'd stay with my father in the theater. As soon as I was big enough to do anything, I was allowed to just run everywhere I wanted to.
I've been connected to the Wildey for most of my life. My mother and my grandfather both were very integral in the Wildey's running over the years. My grandfather was a projectionist for years, my whole life. And then my mom, her intimate knowledge of this place growing up here, I mean, she's been involved in this theater for 80 years. Nobody knows the stories like she does. This is history, and the performers that performed here. This was an extremely small town, and the likes of like Al Jolson that played here, and W.C. Fields, and a few of those world-famous actors that actually played in Edwardsville. That's pretty amazing for way back then. I used to come here as a small kid, like most everybody in Edwardsville, because this was the entertainment place for movies during the day and the evening. And I would say it was past its prime at that point, but it was viable for a long time. But then when they had the tornado that came through downtown Edwardsville, they had a movie going. There were actually people in this theater when the tornado hit. Amazing that nobody got killed, because it actually tore the whole top of the building off the back. The building was in disrepair. It was really getting old. So when it finally closed, it was sad, and it sat for a long time. It just seemed like it was destined to be a parking lot.
We knew it had to happen, and it was reaching the point where it was too sad. And it wasn't the kind of thing that you were proud of, It was not the Wildey that you knew.
My first experience with the Wildey Theatre was walking down Main Street. I was on the council at the time, and there was talk about needing more parking downtown. And that old abandoned theater at the corner of Main Street and College would be a great place for a parking lot. And so we took a walk, and we walked down. The theater was closed at that point. We looked in the windows, we put our eyes up to the dirty glass and said, this doesn't seem right. This somehow feels like something that needs to be saved for the future and not become a parking lot. I had never been in the Wildey before. It just didn't seem right that it would be torn down. I went back to my fellow alderman and the mayor, who was very supportive, and the city was able to use a grant from the state of Illinois, and we were able to buy the building. It took 12 years from that first walking by and putting my nose up to the windows and looking inside to when we were able to raise the $3 million and actually renovate the building.
When Rich and I and others saw a chance to come back, we went out and we went after that chance. And we went after everybody. I mean, we would beg, steal, borrow, get whatever it is, but we went after it. We wanted it, we loved it, and we knew we could bring it back. We were sure we could bring it back, and we did bring it back.
The involvement of the community was pretty amazing. 1/3 of the cost of the renovation of the Wildey needed to come from private money. That was the deal that we struck with the city. And so we did a lot of small fundraising efforts that got us to the finish line. One of those very special projects was an event that was put on by the Edwardsville High School orchestra, choir, and theater students. Now keep in mind, these are students who are 18 years old. The theater had been closed for 25 years. They had no experience with the Wildey, but these young people saw the potential and knew that this was going to be important to the community. And so in their auditorium at the high school, they put on a concert and a theatrical event that featured music and scenes from movies that had been shown at the Wildey. And in that one night, they raised $10,000. And we used the proceeds from that event to purchase the grand drape that's hanging in the auditorium today. One of the things I did with those students during the renovation is I brought them on tours. And when they came on tour, I gave them a marker to sign their name to the metal studs that are behind the drywall. So their names are going to be permanently a part of the Wildey Theatre. And I made sure that when we did the opening night, that those students were also involved in the opening night ceremonies, and they were the first to perform on the stage.
A lot of old towns have started trying to revive their theaters, remodel them. This place has succeeded and is flourishing because of the vision of Rich Walker to start, and they did a great job on the remodel. It's a unique place, and it's really great to see it flourish here in town.
So the plan once we got it open was to keep it running weekly so that there were live performances and movies and other community events in here every week. I have to give a lot of credit to our manager, Al Canal. Al has been a terrific source of contacts for those groups and for negotiating good contracts that are fair for the performers and something that the theater can make some money at the same time.
We had now achieved a reputation for being an amazing venue where now acts, agent, management are calling us wanting to come play here.
The acoustics in there are amazing. I photograph a lot of the bands that come here and play, I mean famous bands. And they love playing here even though it's a very small venue because it's so intimate. They just love coming back. We've had them back numerous times. They like this place so much.
When we have a show going on and I look out in the audience in the middle of the show and I see 300 plus people with a smile on their faces and see people just having a great time, and I go, I had a little something to do with this. And that's a feeling that you can't describe. Long before I even knew the Wildey existed, they knew what a special place this was and could be in the future. When I first got here, my real vision at the scene of the place was to have it be a true beacon for the city of Edwardsville, where people come to it both locally, regionally, and nationally. And when they come to Wildey, they see the businesses in town, the restaurants, and what a great community that this is, and come on back during other time to visit and possibly wind up living here.
We want to make this thing something in Edwardsville, Illinois. I was born and raised in this town, and you want something that we can be proud of. We can have people come to our town and say, you should see our theater, you should see what we can do, you should see our main street.
I think the renovation of the Wildey Theatre was a part of a bigger rebirth of downtown Edwardsville. The Wildey is about everyone in the community, not just those who remembered the past, but it's also for those young people that are living now who are going to experience it in the future. And it will be part of their lives and their experience living in Edwardsville.